Hey, welcome to Let's Talk. This is a variety show covering different topics with guests from all walks of life, and I'll be interviewing them. Tonight, I'm joined by radio royalty and personality Boricua de Nueva York, of New York, J.I.Starr. J.I., welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, George. Oh my God, did you just say royalty?
That's right, my man. You're royalty, man.
Listen, I find that so funny to hear, but I appreciate you.
It's not funny to me. And let me tell you why, J.I., because I grew up listening to you on the radio, you know, and I remember, and, not that I'm that much younger than you, but
apparently you are.
But I remember listening to you on the radio on 92 KTU and on La Mega, amongst other radio stations. But those are the ones that resonate with me the most and that I remember the most. Welcome to Let's Talk, man. What's going on? What's good?
Thank you so much. Doing as good as we could possibly be doing during these crazy new times. I call it the brave new world.
Yes.
Holed up in the condo. Luckily, I have a wonderful wife that is a great partner. Otherwise, I see this full head of hair. It would not be there. You must have a nice, comfortable life right now too, because you're cutting it off, actually.
Yeah, I took some of it off, man. I had to, just trying to clean up. That was my I call it the CQ look, which is the COVID quarantine look, not the GQ.
Oh, CQ.
The
Yo,
CQ
that's going to be trending soon.
That's what that is, man.
Cool.
Well, Jay, I wanted to discuss a little bit about, and there's so much to unpack here with your career, man. You did so much on the radio. And honestly, I mean, it's just being on the radio for so many years. And you really, and I call you royalty, and I say that with all due respect, because you've been involved in all types of music. You've played everything that there is. And currently you're playing music via Facebook on your own personal page, I believe, that I tune in. I think it's tomorrow night, no?
Yeah, I try to do once a week. Before I was doing twice, but it's a platform we don't own, so right. I call it just messing around. I don't even call it a show. Facebook will allow us a half an hour here and an hour there and another half hour. I just tell people refresh, just have a little fun, because you're not going to get the kind of music I play and a few other select DJs that I admire play. Because you have to have lived the music to be able to actually find the right songs that go together, a feeling, a decade, an era. It's not just playing songs, because I can give a kid that's been DJing 5 years my entire collection. He's going to sound completely different and lost.
Right.
It's about living it.
Now, and you mentioned some favorite DJs, and I want to touch on that a little bit. What are some of the DJs that you grew up listening to that maybe influenced you in this field of radio?
Well, in the radio field, because it's a very distinct difference of the club DJ and the radio DJ. Right. My mentors were WABC DJs, Harry Harrison. But my main influence was and I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. Kasem, Casey Kasem.
Kasem, yeah, the top 40.
Exactly, and that is what I tried to emulate. Casey Kasem style, and I've been told several times, even in Spanish. He goes, you sound like the Spanish version of Casey Kasem, and I'm like, funny you should say that. That truly was my. That was my idol. That was my radio idol. But I listened to WABC, transistor radio. We're talking, when I was 10, I was 60. It was 1969. So this was like top 40 radio, 69, 70, 71. And ABC DJs were amazing. And I loved the way the banter. But that was the beginning. And then after that, when I started working for KTU, it was as a mix DJ, not an on-air personality. I was like 21 years old. A good friend of mine, Kelly Monahan, who was the right-hand woman of Carlos de Jesus, may he rest in peace, and he was the program director. She got my tape in there, and they were just starting to do the mixing. And I was one of the very first DJs they used, along with Jelly Bean Benitez.
Oh, yes.
Another great friend and an amazing talent. So him, myself, Mark Cichon, who was a production guy. He didn't really mix. And then a few others joined us later on, like major names like Aldo Marin, Tony Moran, dynamic duo, so many others. So many.
Amazing. Amazing. And I tell you, you do, now that you say that, you do sound like Casey Kasem. I never really thought of it.
Welcome to America's Top 40.
Yeah, that's right. That was the show that I grew up listening to as well, and I had a great time, listening to that. And you know what's funny? The first time we met was at Cutlass Radio.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I got that.
Yeah,
and that was kind of recent.
Yeah, that was
why. Yeah. George, I got to tell you, it feels like I've known you way longer.
Really? Okay.
Way longer. It feels like we've been friends forever.
Absolutely. I think it's because we there's a lot of things that we like that are in common, and I respect what you've done in your career and who you are as a person now, and what what the way you carry yourself. I mean, it was funny, it's funny that I didn't text you or call you today at all. We had the show today, and from last week, you said you were going to be on this week, and you actually text me first, and that tells me a lot about your character, and I really do appreciate that.
Thank you. If it's in the schedule, it's scheduled.
Awesome, man. I really do appreciate that. And we met at Cutlass Radio.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who you were because I've never seen you.
That's quite all right. I've been known to have a radio face.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. But it's funny because when I heard you speak, then I knew exactly. I'm like, oh my God, that's J.I.Starr, of course, and it was funny just to get that. And one of the viewers jumping on, Magali Velez, she says, El Boricua de Nueva York. Yes, El Boricua of New York. So, thank you, Magali, for tuning in. I want to cover a couple of things. I mean, did you grow up in New York?
I did.
You were a original New Yorker?
Absolutely. The most northern tip of Manhattan. And I was looking at that photo. I don't know if you know this, but it popped up when someone chimed in. Okay. I think I remember that girl. I think that's the Magali I know. And that is a childhood friend from Post Avenue, the most northern tip of Manhattan. That's where I grew up.
Yes. Isn't that Inwood?
Yeah. Inwood, Manhattan.
Manhattan. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know if that's Magali. I brought the picture back up just to see if that's her.
I think it is.
Okay. So Magali, if that's you, let us know. And she says, see, that's her.
Inwood in the house.
All right, that's right. Manhattan in the house. All right, so now, again, so you grew up in New York.
Yeah.
What was it that triggered you, or what inspired you to get into the radio? Because to me, that seems so far. I mean, like just so far away. What got you into that?
That actually, that I can really pinpoint that to one moment. Not only was it Casey Kasem, and just because I liked him and I liked to emulate him, but I still didn't want to be on radio at the time. Right. I went to High School of Music and Art out of junior high, and I took chorus and drums, and I was starting to learn how to play piano. Okay. And so I kind of say that I'm probably a frustrated musician, but that got me into DJing. So a lot of my friends were DJing. I loved it. I followed it. I started getting the equipment, etc. But for radio, it was very specific because I started as a mixed DJ on KTU, as we discussed. But the guy that blew me away, and I don't know if you remember, you may not even be old enough to remember, his name was Roscoe.
Of course.
Okay. Hello, this is Roscoe.
Yes.
I was his intern.
Oh, my God.
And so I worked at KTU as the mixed DJ, but I wanted more. I knew that I had to get my foot in there. Yeah. So I was an intern. I got the coffee and the rice pudding, and I answered the phones. You know what I mean? Like, you're calling number 1, you're calling number 2, up to 92. And then, hey, you're calling number 92. You just won a record pack and gift tickets and blah, blah, blah. So I did that with Roscoe, but it gave me the opportunity to sit with him in the studio a lot of those hours, a lot of the probably 5 hours I spent some time with him. And I wanted to emulate that true, suave coolness that he emulated. Roscoe was the man.
Yes.
He rest in peace. A lot of them are no longer with us. And so that style, I said, you know what? I want to do that. And I had a lot of mentors, Carlos de Jesus, Paco, and Roscoe. Those are my main
My God,
guys at KT.
Paco. Have no fear. Paco's here. I remember that,
Yeah,
man. That guy was
we
something else.
just lost him too.
Yes, last year, right? Is it
Yep,
early last? I mean, late last year or early this
correct.
year?
Late
Yeah,
last year.
yeah. May he rest in peace.
Hmm.
So wow, that's amazing. But I mean, how did you get your foot into the door? Like, because
Yeah.
what is it that you would making a delivery and
No, no. See, my foot was already in there working with Roscoe, right?
Gotcha.
And so I went to all the meetings for the custom music DJ. We were called the custom music DJs. And I was not even J.I.Starr yet. I was Joey Irizarry from Spin Easy Roller Rink, which
Mm,
was the roller rink in Inwood, first one.
spin easy.
And we made a big splash there as the DJs from the neighborhood. And we opened that place. So
Okay.
we had a lot of success there. Anyway, Carlos de Jesus would always tell me, because I would tell him, listen, man, what do I need to do? I want to be on the air. I want to be a radio personality. This is a young 21-year-old kid with
Gotcha.
my hair always out of place, long, crazy hair. And he told me some gold nuggets. He said, it's all about personality. You don't have to have a great voice. You don't have to have great diction. You have to have a personality. And I told him, well, how do you develop a personality? And he said, you don't. It just happens.
Mm,
So what I did at that point was I cleaned up my speech. I wanted to have all the other things in check. I had a slight lisp. I worked on it with a speech coach. I went to Announcer Training Studios, was a studio place on 42nd Street. Went there and learned how to use radio equipment, how to edit on reel to reel, which I was doing before I went there.
my God, but wait a minute, reel to
Yes.
reel. You're talking about a tape, like it's a tape. That you
Yes.
cut.
Editing block. Yes.
Wait.
Marking it with the grease pencil.
Oh my gosh.
No
Okay.
doubt. It was a lot of fun. So I learned how to do that. And then the way I actually started on air was because I had taken over as the DJ at a major club in Jersey City, which was famous. It was Fox's nightclub.
Oh yeah, Fox.
And those years were insane. So when I was working there, I started a Latin night, and we needed commercials. Now my Spanish was not perfect.
I see, because Magali's she's letting us know it wasn't.
Well, she should mind her own right now, Magali. I'll get to you later. She's absolutely right. That's the thing. Magali's absolutely right. It was non-existent. So I started reading with a dictionary, learning a lot of Spanish. I was very dedicated. That's the one thing. I got truly dedicated because I know I wanted that. I wanted broadcast. There was some allure of opening a microphone and so many people being able to hear you at once. So I got trained. I started doing the Latin night. We needed Latin commercials, Spanish commercials. So I recorded them. Long story short, I used to take them at that time on reel to Super Kaku.
Oh my God.
De Formega.
Yeah, Super Kaku was the radio station.
FM 98.
Yes.
FM 98.
Yes.
So the program director at the time said, hey, man, and I'm skipping a few parts, obviously, because we'll be here forever.
Sure.
But he said, hey, how'd you like to do your own show? I want to do something bilingual. I'm like, oh, yeah. I thought he was pulling my leg.
Right.
I didn't know. I honestly did not think, A, I was ready, or B, that he was being serious. So not even a month later, he says, so you ready? And he called me.
Oh
I'm
my-
like, for what? I turned in the commercial. He says, to do your own show.
Wow.
So fast forward, I started a show called The Sound of New York. And
Yeah.
it was bilingual, salsa, merengue. I had autonomy because the program director let me have free reign for 2 full years, which is unheard of
Right.
in New York radio. So I played, besides salsa merengue that we programmed anyway, I played house and reggae, freestyle.
Yes.
And I would ruffle a lot of feathers because I guess other guys wanted to do the same thing. And I was the only show that could do that. So I ruffled a few and it didn't matter. They believed in me. And 22 years later, I was still doing it. Not the same exact type of show,
Sure.
but working on New York major market radio.
That's amazing, because I remember your show and I remember it being distinctly like it was different music. You had salsa merengue, freestyle, and I'm like, wow, this, because you never heard that on the radio prior to that. I think you were the first one to actually start that, and because you had that free reign, thankfully, because
Yeah.
that's how at the time, I grew up here in the, New York City in the Bronx, and it was a mix of either freestyle, the top 40 or the top 100, whatever it was. It was always, or Spanish. I mean, English, Spanish, rock, whatever.
Correct.
And the oldies. I think it was CBS was used to do the oldies,
Yep.
and that was it. But you came along and you mixed this whole. You put a buffet of music to listen to, and that I found that really incredible to do, because at the time nobody else was doing that, and you were the pioneer of that, So that
I
was.
like to think that I was. My wife tells me all the time, I don't know how to take a compliment. I like to think I was part of that mix. But the radio station, ultimately, the guy that believed in me, Al Fuentes, who's the program director, and the one before him, I kind of remember half his name, so I won't mention it right now.
Okay.
Oh, Alfonso. He believed in me. He gave me my first contract, and he tied the contract, the pay scale, to my ratings. He asked me, "Is that okay? You want to try that?" I'm like, "Let's go." So it gave me a lot of incentive. So long story short, I was making a nice check for 4 hours a week. And then finally that had to end because it got too crazy.
You mean you were making so much money that they said, like, this guy's making more than the.
Not so much, but for 4 hours, yes.
Gotcha.
And they finally changed it, but that was a change of music directors that have to have way more control, or rather program directors that wanted way more control. There's like, wait a minute, he's programming his own music? Well, that guy, let's stop it now. And it did. It's okay. It's the nature of the business. I understood it. I was just happy to have the opportunity to be able to do it for a little over 2 years.
That's amazing.
It's exciting.
Amazing. And that's how, again, J.I.Starr, I heard the voice, but when I first met you last year, I was like, oh my God, this is the guy. You normally don't see radio personalities. You don't see the DJs. You don't know what they look like, other than Imus and what was the other guy?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, because those guys wound up being personalities. They wound up being on TV.
No doubt.
Those are the guys that you knew. But once I got to know you, I was like, oh man, and I heard the voice. I was like, that, pretty cool, man, to listen to J.I.Starr in person. Now, I want to ask you some more questions, from that time, because I mean, you covered many years in the radio. What's the current state of radio? Because I know right now, I think a lot of kids are listening to Spotify. They're listening to iTunes. They're not really listening to the radio like they did back in the day when we were growing up back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now it's all like digital. What's going on with that right now?
That's a great question, because not only is everything digital, but back then terrestrial radio was free and still is free. So it was the place to listen to music. People used to break records. Frankie Crocker comes to mind.
Oh my God,
etc. But you asked me the state of the radio now.
Right.
It is so friggin' boring, so homogenized. That's the word to use, because I don't care what genre you're listening to, whether it's rock. The only one that I love is the oldie station, because you can't get it anywhere else. I love CBS 101. Love it.
Yeah,
I work on that station. I'll
Yeah.
throw it out to the universe, like my good friend Laz Vick said. So the state of New York radio right now is less personality, with the exception of very few people. Less personality and everything pre-programmed. You can't do that, man. This is New York. New York should be programmed from someone from New York. Someone that knows the trends, someone that knows exactly what's happening. Naturally, with this whole new world, things have changed considerably. I don't know if we're going to have clubs like we used to have before. Not even lounges, anywhere where a lot of people can congregate. But the state is sad, actually, because they don't want you to be a personality. They want you to, they say, you know what, in and out, 15 seconds, 12 seconds. With the exception of a few people that talk way too much, the majority do not. And the program directors do not want you to be a personality. That's how radio has changed considerably. When you were personal and you knew your neighborhood, you could talk about current events because you live it.
Right.
Not now.
Well, and being a New Yorker, people want to hear about New York. So that personality to me is more important. I think more people are interested in that. I think things are popping up like these podcasts. Like this came out of because of COVID. I came out with this and I said, let's talk to some people. Let's put some people that I find pretty interesting. And I think people find them interesting as well. And that's why I reached out to you and say, hey, J.I., would you like to be on the radio? I mean, on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for joining me with that. Okay. So you said people coming in, popping in 10 to 15 seconds. And they would tell you why is that? Is that because they have to pay for commercial or because the
nope.
certain
Nothing
radio
to do with commercial? It's just that they don't want you to be a personality. They don't want you to open the mic and say, hey, we're doing this today. And last week we're going to do, oh my God, did you hear about so-and-so, that gossip? They don't want that. They just want WSKQ 97.9 FM. This is J.I.Starr. Next.
But that would be counterproductive to growing the program because people want to listen to that personality.
You would think, but on the other hand, the short attention span of the new generation maybe doesn't want to listen to that. They just want what they want when they want it. It's, hence Spotify and Pandora, etc. Even if they have to pay for it or they just go download it, they want it immediate. They're not even going to listen to the whole song half the time. They'll listen to a minute and a half. And you know what? Attention span. Boom. Next song.
Gone.
Video. Facebook. Instagram.
Wow. Okay. So that's a very interesting take on that. So what do you see the radio, let's say, I don't know, maybe even a short 5 to 10 years from now, where do you see the radio stations then?
Wow. I like to think, because I'm such a aficionado of terrestrial radio, that it will still survive. And I honestly think it will. And the main reason is because it's free. And you have it in your car, and car is a very big part of radio and of listening to audio in general. For instance, Sirius satellite radio. You see how they tied into cars right away?
Yes.
I mean, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah. I refuse to pay for it, by the way.
So do I. As much as I like Howard Stern, I refuse to pay for it.
I won't pay for it. No. There's no need. There's no need.
And right now it'd be terrible because there's no sports.
Yeah, what's up with that, man? This is crazy, man.
That must be driving you bananas. That's how I got to know you as a boxing commentator. You're quite friggin' good too.
Thank you, man. I really do.
Yeah, I enjoyed that time.
It's not about me. It's about you. We're talking about J.I.Starr. J.I. is the star here in this show tonight.
Thanks, bro.
No, I appreciate you. Believe me. Okay, so let me ask you a question. You also do these salsa cruises. Are you still involved with that?
Absolutely. Oh my God. The founder and CEO is a very good friend of mine that's become like my sister from another mister. And her name is Myrna. And she's a powerhouse. First of all,
that's a Myrna.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse. She does not take shit from anyone. And that's why she has survived 22 years. Out of the 22, I've been with her 21.
Oh, wow.
And I was doing a live broadcast on Mega at I think it was a Toyota dealership. And her and her late husband, may he rest in peace, Frank, came to see me. And it was to hire me to do Salsa Cruise because they saw me at a Madison Square Garden concert introducing, it might have been a mega concert or a promoter's concert. And I got to know them, and boom, we started doing Salsa Cruise. So she started with big groups, 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 700. And then ultimately for the last 12, almost 15 years, full charters, which is the entire ship.
Amazing.
It is amazing. We've had I have some stories that I have to forget because it's just too many amazing memories.
All right. And I mean, because of COVID now, that's all kind of down the drain for right now at the moment.
Not really. As a matter of fact, our next cruise is in October 25th through November 2nd, and it's still on. And we're going to some great destinations. SalsaCruise.com is the place where you can go for more information. As of right now, it is still on for the simple fact that we're waiting for the determination of the United States government. Yes. And then the cruise line itself, MSC, which is an Italian-owned cruise line.
Okay. And that's salsacruise.com.
.com.
Hopefully I'm for my glasses because I'm going to put that up in the Yeah, in the chat. So people,
Oh, I would appreciate that.
yeah, if they want to, check that out and click on it. If you want to go to a salsa cruise with the master of ceremonies and yours truly, J.I.Starr, you can get that. So you guys
Thank
go
you.
to salsa cruise. I think that's pretty cool. And you guys are being treated right now. Like I said, to radio royalty, you're being treated right now to radio royalty. This is J.I.Starr. If you remember back 92 KTU or La Mega, if you listen to Latin radio, you know who J.I.Starr is, and I'm just so honored to have him here as well. Now, J.I., you're currently doing you also do voiceovers, right? So if somebody wants to
Yes.
hire you, you do that as well, don't you?
Absolutely. I've been doing that for years. I started that career in 1985. And like I said, I was very strict with learning and cleaning up my speech and enunciation because it is all about that. And then, of course, the industry changes. For instance, I get asked all the time, we don't want the announcery voice.
Oh,
We
you
want conversational. And I understand that. And the difference is big.
well, can you demonstrate the difference between that announcer
Of
every day?
course. All right. So this show is called Let's Talk.
Yeah.
So a promo voice might be tonight at 8. It's Let's Talk with George Sayas and J.I.Starr. That's the promo voice.
Yes.
But if they want conversation, hey guys, join us tonight. I'm going to be on with George Sayas on the show. Let's Talk. I hope to see you there.
Yeah, I like that better. That seems
Conversational.
genuine.
And it happens to be trends because the industry goes through trends. This, in my personal opinion, has been one of the longest trends, which is conversational. And you'll hear it a lot now. If you hear a commercial, you'll realize it. You'll hear so much more. A family just talking. Hey, want to go to Golden Corral? Yeah. Oh, wow. Do you make that chocolate wonderful? Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, yeah, you know what? And that seems more genuine because I've never heard like people talking like that, like, hey, how are you? That voice. And I'm like, I've never spoken to anybody like that.
Yo, you know who I just thought about?
Who's that?
My wife. She snaps on me all the time. There was this one incident. I swear to God, a co-worker of mine, Bakang. Okay. You remember Bakang?
No. Oh, yeah. Bakang, yes.
Yes. Well, he has a son, not to be confused with Bakang. That's the son.
Okay, Bakang is Dominican, isn't he?
No, I think he's Puerto Rican.
Okay, but I remember the name now. Now that you jog my memory, yes, I know Bakang.
He worked on Mega. He worked on Amor, who's the sister station. Yes. So we bumped into each other in a Dunkin' Donuts, and my wife tells the story. When she says it, I say, "Please go ahead," because I need a laugh. She says that we both instinctively, right before saying hi, we went, and then the way she goes, "Hello, J.I. Hola, Bakang, ¿cómo estás?" And it's hilarious because maybe it wasn't that pronounced or exaggerated, but it was close.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
So that's the announcery voice.
Yeah, I never understood that, but you know what? It is what it is, and that was the times, and that's what they did.
Right.
Now you've worked for essentially for 4 decades in radio.
Yeah.
You've been the master of ceremonies of big concert series. You've been, I think, with the likes of Tito Rojas, Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, Mark Anthony. I and the list goes on and on. I mean, I know there's a lot. I don't know all of them, but would you tell us, in that field when you did that, how was that? What was the experience like in that whole just being around that and doing
wonderful experience, getting to know them and not being the fan. You can't be the fan. They don't want to see that. They want the professional.
Right.
They say, this guy's going to present me, and I'll ask them, hey, there's anything specific you want me to include in my monologue? They go, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? They don't want the guy to be, oh, Mark, can we take a picture together, please? And then go present them. No, they don't want that.
Yeah.
At least the majority. And I've got to meet, oh my God, I've had great experiences meeting Oscar de Leon. You mentioned Tito Puente. May he rest in peace. That was an amazing experience. All the Titos.
They say that you look a little like Tito Puente.
I've heard.
Yes, I've heard people say that. Even, in fact, one of my friends here said, hey, he looks like Tito Puente. I'm like, well, you know what? Okay, I could see the resemblance, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, I got timbale sticks right there.
That's as close as you look as Tito Puente.
In my opinion. But go on. So, yeah, I've met all these guys. I've had a chance on the radio to interview several of them, interview them for different shows backstage. And they've all got their stories. And all the Titos, Tito Rojas, Tito Puente, Tito Allen, Tito, all the Titos, all the Titos.
All right, cool. All right, so we want to give a shout out to Cynthia Melendez that's watching. She goes, "Hey Joey," and then another thing.
Hola, Cynthia.
Yeah, Magali also says, she says, and he still gives back to his whole community with Career Day, and that's pretty important.
Thank you.
I think
that's been fun. Thank you, Magali.
And that's important, J.I., because I think that if a young kid right now wants to follow that career path, and maybe just like a push or just some kind of guidance or anything, just somebody to look up to, especially within our communities of the Latino and stuff like that. I think that's important, to show somebody actually made it. And
you said a mouthful. You said a mouthful, because these career days have been probably more important for me than it was for the kids. I'll tell you why, because I saw a lot of wide-eyed kids. You got the smart asses that sit in the back.
Sure.
The teachers keep them in check, right, which I noticed. But what I got out of that was not so much after giving them a little of the hoopla, meaning the artists. For them, it would be Don Omar and Daddy Yankee and Wisin y Yandel and all the monster reggaetoneros. And after talking a little bit about interviewing them and seeing them backstage and introducing, I would get into the nitty gritty of, hey, yo, you're in school. What could help you right now is enunciating your words as opposed to having a lazy tongue and sounding like everyone else. Like, yo, what's up? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be noticed and if you want to walk in a room and people say, who's that? Who just said that? You're going to stand out if you enunciate your words, if you speak clearly, and here's the key, if you have a big vocabulary.
Yes, I'm working on that.
Because if you're always saying, nah, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, listen, not for nothing. I'm going to flip that around a little bit. Some of the people that actually speak like that, they make big bank right now, man.
They do, but there's a place for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I just singled out half the entire hip hop.
Yes, absolutely.
So I understand that.
All right, Peter Strada says, did you work with Tito Trinidad? He's being one of those wise guys that was in the back of the classroom.
Tito Trinidad. What? The boxer?
Yeah.
No, but I think I interviewed him.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
That's Also, Macho Camacho I interviewed, and I interviewed Pretty Boy.
All right.
What's his name?
Pretty Boy Floyd.
No.
Oscar de la Hoya.
Oscar de la Hoya. I interviewed him when I was working on Amor 93.1.
Okay. All right. And then Sandra Mesa. Big shout out to Sandra. She's listening. She gets Maggie Velez. He gave you a shout out. You go, girl. Okay. Awesome.
Thank you guys.
All right. And Magali's also saying that you're a mentor to so many. Jason Feltz, all the way from California. Hey, welcome, Jason. He says that's true what you said, and about enunciating. And also Sandra Mesa says, I agree. There's a place for everyone, and yeah, there's a place and time for that kind of talk. Sometimes when you have to be professional, you got to put that away. It doesn't mean that you can't have it in your tool bag, but I think when it's time to put on the professional, you got to put that stuff away.
Thank you for making that differentiation. Because this is what I told the kids. I specifically said, look, there's nothing wrong with that. And you nailed it, because you said there's a lot of artists, for instance, making big bank, and they sound like that in their everyday life. But What I said was, when you're going on an interview, you're not a rapper, you're not a athlete, and you're going on an interview, and they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And you answer, yo, my dog. And you're not getting that job. You know what I mean? Yes. So you can always fall back on great enunciation, pronouncing the words the right way, an expansive vocabulary. You can always fall back on that for anything you do in life, not just any job, but anything. Absolutely. So if you're lucky enough to be one of the, half percenters that can be an athlete or an amazing R&B star, then power to you, man.
Absolutely, man. And you know what? That's not that easy to accomplish. A lot of kids are fooled by that, but that's why we need people like you on those career days to say, hey, listen, man, you can make it, but these are the tools that you need for the trade. So very important. That's easier than rapping. That's easier I think, to me, in my opinion, than, becoming that NBA star or whatever, because guess what? you need to have some kind of God-given abilities as well. It's not just you go out there and throw a ball through a hoop. It doesn't work like that. You know.
Agreed.
And then here's the other thing. What's the difference between a skill set and talent or a God-given talent? There's a big difference. So, you know, can anybody be a radio disc jockey or a
I think yes.
Personality?
I think yes, because if you recall, I told you that Carlos de Jesus told me one time. I asked him, I want to be on the air. He says, you need a personality. How do I get a personality? He says, you have to have it. So yes, personality. I think people are born with it, but it's not like you can go through your entire life without one.
Right.
It's where you want to be. Where's your head at? Where's your mindset? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Right. That's very key. So that can all affect your personality. I think, to answer your question directly, that anyone can work radio. It's not about the voice like it used to be in the old times. Even though Spanish radio still does it very old school, because you'll still hear esta noche en Univisión o Telemundo 47.
Very exaggerated.
Whoa, that's called sing song.
So you mean when my voice, me, I got a chance?
It has nothing to do with voice.
Okay,
you're a great host. You have a smile. You're genuinely interested. You're using your tools the right way, like the microphone. Yes.
Thank you. But it's not about me. Let's get back to you. Thomas Vargas checking in from El Paso, Texas. Thank you, in the house.
That's my boy.
Also, he's in the house. And also, Peter Estrada says, my dog. All right, my dog. DAWG.
What up, player?
And then checking in is also Adam Perez. He says J.I. is the best.
Friend.
He gives some good sets on the lockdown. That's right. And you know what? Absolutely, man. Thank you. And, you know, he says that you're also sincere. And you know what? I must agree with that. From the minute that I met you, there was sincerity. There wasn't like, oh, I'm J.I.Starr, the radio personality. I'm this big guy. Who are you, peon? You know, it was never that. I never experienced that with you. And I appreciate
something about that. It's not the first time I hear it. When I hear that, though, when people say, oh, J.I.Starr, the guy that's been on radio, I say that and a Metro card gets me on the A train.
Oh my God. So it's just knowing who you are this time and space. That's basically what it is. And you know, that's pretty cool, man. I appreciate that as well. Peter Estrada says he misses my bow tie, you know, my signature bow tie, but that's for boxing.
That's
this is
for boxing, yes.
This is a whole different thing right now. And then Adam also says that you know, you're down to earth, and at the bottom line is he says you're still J.I. And that, you know, that's actually a compliment. I would take that as a compliment, because it means that you're still relatable to the masses, and that's what's important.
You have to be. You know the famous saying, the same people that you meet on the way up, you're going to meet on the way down.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So don't burn any bridges.
Those are the
I like to think
on your neck. Those are the ones going to step on your neck when you're coming back down.
As a step stool.
Absolutely.
Oh, good Lord.
All right, and out of all the artists, and I don't want to, you know, I hope I don't get you in trouble by asking you this question. What were some of the favorite ones that you worked with? What would you say were the favorite ones?
Favorite, super fun in salsa, Tito Nieves, Victor Manuel. Fun, but very conservative, Gilberto Santa Rosa.
Yes, these are big names, man.
Tito Puente was a trip. He was like hanging out with a teenager, and he was already 65 at the time when he performed at the club that we brought him to, which was also Fox's, and he was like a kid. Boy, did he like to play around. I loved it. So yeah, those are some of the favorites. Let's see, Sean Paul on the reggae tip.
Okay,
it's a lot of fun. Super humble man. Daddy Yankee also super humble.
I got a different like persona when he's performing, but away from that, it's just like he's this real quiet, humble guy, which is kind of just strange. But you know, but I you know, it's interesting to see the people when they're on and when they're off. You know, it's two different personalities.
Boy, did he make it big! And and I told this recently on a recent interview. But it bears repeating, because Daddy Yankee, I interviewed him for the very first time in New York. So in all of New York, I got a chance to interview him, and he wasn't extremely well known. First of all, reggaeton was just starting to come in from the El Barrio in Puerto Rico and from Panama. It was just coming in, and he was this artist, this big deal, supposedly on the rise on the. He was trending.
Was it more like underground type music?
Yes. Oh, big time.
At the time.
Oh, big time. And J.W. Cortez, the actor and good friend, he introduced me to Daddy Yankee. He says, "Hey, man, I got this guy. He's got this this new music is coming out." I said, "Yeah, I just heard of it." And I interviewed him, and he was shaking like a leaf, man. He was so nervous. I had him do a cappella. And the minute he started doing a cappella and dropping some beat, oh, my God, he was amazing. And the nervousness disappeared.
So it's a different personality. Once he gets on, he snaps into his character of that.
And remember, he wasn't Daddy Yankee yet.
Right, but maybe he felt comfortable doing that rather than doing what we're doing right now, where we're having a dialogue.
Absolutely.
And I'm asking you questions. I mean, some of it could be personal, and I don't want, like I said, I don't want to push any buttons. I want to know, because these are the things that I'm interested in, and I'm sure the viewer,
you are. Thank you
as well. All right, so Magali says that he practiced his DJ skills around the local Inwood pubs back in the days.
No doubt about it, and they were all Irish.
No way, but wait a minute. So then, what kind of music were you playing at the time?
Disco classics.
Oh my God, no way.
Yes, that's what they wanted to hear. Remember, when I was playing back then, we didn't call them disco classics. They were just dance music. They were disco.
Yeah, at the time. Now they're considered classics.
Exactly. We were playing disco.
Yeah, definitely. And then she also says that you did that in the park too. Oh no, Adam says you did that in the park too.
Well, that was a major part of how a lot of the DJs started in our neighborhood. And we have a neighborhood full of a lot of talent. So much talent, like Aldo Marin, who became the owner of Cutting Records, an amazingly talented guy. David Colon, who's out in Texas now, a good friend of mine. Crazy Legs, the famous I just saw him on TV with Red Bull. He's like an ambassador for Red Bull for breakdancing.
Breakdancing, that's
right.
And
well, he was featured on the news. I think it was Channel 2 News or Channel 4, on the cardboard right in front of my equipment, and they filmed them for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So that was a nice landmark. Crazy Legs is a great guy. Richie's his name. I'm very good friends with the entire family, the entire Cologne family. Good.
You know what's funny? I saw like some kind of he was doing something, I think, for Puerto Rico, like to clean up the beaches right after Maria something. He was involved in that. He's very articulate, very smart man. So I was really surprised, because most of the time back then, because I lived through that era, you saw guys that maybe weren't the smartest, but were very talented dancing. But he actually, to me, he broke the mold. When I saw that, it was a newfound respect for him and his talent when I saw that.
He parlayed his talent into a business.
Right.
Because now he's the go-to person for breakdancing around the world. So crazy props for Richie.
Absolutely. All right. Checking in is Eileen Rock Horse Band. She says she loves Aldo Marin.
Yeah, that looks familiar. That's wifey.
That's wifey. Hey, shout out to wifey.
She's a rock and roll singer. She does covers for a band called Rock Horse Band. They're amazing.
And you know what? I met her too, and she was very charming as well. And didn't she also sing freestyle? I think that's how you guys met.
Did. Yeah, that's how we met.
I did my homework a little bit about you. So I gotta say, well, let me look at J.I.Starr's, and my law enforcement background helped me to kind of look into you a little bit. Well, listen, I have this show called Let's Talk. I gotta get some juicy.
I'm happy you did. Let me tell you how. That was awesome, because that was the years of Fox's where I hired all the talent. I was the DJ, but then I became GM as well, so I did both. And what happened, the way we actually met is a great story. Do you know the name France Jolie?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Big disco diva.
I was listening to her on YouTube the other day, just listening to some of her music, which is funny that you mentioned that. That's so crazy. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Super talented. Yes. Canadian. Okay. We went on radio. We were on Z100. We were on Hot 103 at the time. She had an issue with a visa, could not make it. So
Mm.
what happens? As a DJ, I knew that Eileen and the Girls Club, that was the name of the group, the Girls Club on Active Records. And I knew that she did a cover of one of Frangioli's songs, Hard to Break a Heart. The
Mhm.
guy part in Hard to Break a Heart was done by Noel on her song,
Oh, no way.
the other a freestyle artist.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? It's too late to do anything else. We already advertising. She can't make it. She's not going to make it. I'm going to hire Eileen and the Girls Club. I called Vito Bruno, who's the manager at the time, and hired her. Now, here's the best part of this story. We had a full house, 1,200 people in a club that held 800.
Oh my God.
And
All fire codes. You broke all kinds of.
every single one. You are 501, aren't you? So so here's the creme de la creme for her story. Out of 1,200 people, 4 refunds I had to give because Frangioli didn't make it.
Oh.
So she killed it, owned them, owned that crowd. Then, of course, I tried to kick it to her. I was separated. She wouldn't give me the time of day.
Oh my God. Okay.
So nothing. It was like, yo, pay me. I'm out.
All right. So now, I mean, that's funny. You know, how and the way things develop.
Yeah.
You know, thanks a lot, Adam Perez. That's checking. He says, great, good interview. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate that, man. And then a wifey's chiming in again. Let me see here. Hold on a second.
She's chiming in again. All right, honey, you're listening. Can you start the cooking, please? I'm hungry.
She goes, I love this. I love this. And she's getting a shout out by Adam as well. She says, what he says, what up, Eileen?
Good friends.
And yeah, thank you so much for the for tuning in and for your feedback and for chiming in on the show. We appreciate that. Okay, so now all right, so we fast forward. She sings, she rocks the house.
Yep.
All right. And I'm not trying to take anything away from you, but I want to just set up the stage of what you've been. Because I'll have Eileen on the show next time. How about that?
Okay.
All right, and so now she rocks it. Look, Adam says you're in the doghouse now.
I can see that. I like that. I can see the chat. Adam is the whitest Dominican I know. Adam, take a chill pill.
It's not like he said, "Go make me a sandwich." All right, so stop it. All right, stop it, Adam. All right, so anyway, so now she rocks the house.
Yeah.
What led to the second encounter? Because I mean, she gave you no time of day. What happened then?
Perfect. Good question. So we hired her again the following month. She killed it again. Now on her own merits. I tried to create some sort of harmony and nothing again. Later on, I found out she was going through a breakup at the time.
Okay.
Hired her again 2 months later. Finally, she allowed me to take her to breakfast afterwards.
All right, and this was
she didn't go alone though. She went with her road manager.
Okay.
And what happened? I forgot my wallet. To this day, she says a likely story.
You were broke. Come on.
To this day.
Oh my gosh.
And now you really want to fast forward 28 years later, we're still together.
Amen. God bless, man. That's awesome. That's a great story. All right. So now getting back to this. Now I see you on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook. And one of your hobbies is biking. Is that what you do to stay in shape, to kind of, the pressure of what's going on right now? The bike, I see you might, I mean, you do some, I see some videos that you put in, you do some crazy trails, man. I see you flying down the hill with these bikes.
It's not to, it wasn't to forget this craziness and this new world of now, because I've been biking now over 3 decades, and I've raced and all that. I don't race anymore, and I don't do crazy drops anymore because bones don't heal the same. And I've broken many bones in my pursuit. I love mountain biking. With this craziness about not going out, I've still been going out, I'll admit it, but not in big groups. And when you're mountain biking, you're constantly 30 feet from each other.
Right.
So when you get to the trailhead, just don't hang out and take selfies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
either, right?
Passion wasn't to forget this. It's always been to clear your mind and for fitness. Fitness actually was the residual effect.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, and I see that. I find that very interesting because I was a big biker when I was younger.
BMX?
No.
Oh,
Just distance riding. Just doing a
got it.
lot of distance riding. No mountain biking. It was more distance stuff like that. And that was fun. I stayed fit that way. I want to give a shout out to Larry Mitchell. That's he says, nice talk show, George. Thank you very much, Larry. He's out from Atlanta. Thank you so much for tuning in, man.
Thanks, Larry.
And then Adam says, "Yo, Jay has some awesome legs. He used to skate all over the city too. I remember that too." He says.
Yes. I did. I used to love roller skating.
Yeah, that was a thing back then, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was a big thing when we were growing up, roller skating. Now, Jay, I want to ask you another thing. Are you currently DJing right now?
Since there's no clubs or anything, the answer to that is no. The live streaming is what gives you a little creative output. So that's another reason why I do it. I do it because I love classics, dance classics. I love them, truly love them. It's a passion. It's what made money for me. It became a career. It got me into radio. I've met so many people that I love and that are still part of my life through playing music. So basically, there's no place you can go play right now. So the answer is, would I be if there were places? Yes, from time to time, but not on a regular basis.
Now, earlier in the interview, you said something really interesting. You said, I'm gonna say you wanted to work for CBS. I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah.
Now, is that the dream job right now?
It is the dream job, and I'll tell you why it's so difficult. They have such little turnover because they have amazing jocks. Broadway Bill Lee's a very good friend of mine. Joe Causey, very good friend of mine. These guys have been on there forever.
Okay, so they can't even give you a little hour slot.
I don't know if it's in the cards yet, but we'll continue to throw it out to the universe.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm a big believer in that. I think that sometimes when you put stuff into the universe will conspire to actually bring it back to you. There's a good book called The Alchemist. You know, if you want to pick that up, that'll explain that, putting things out and they'll come back. And especially if you do it, from a good place, which you currently, you are that type of person. You have a very good heart. I'm sure we're going to see that come to fruition.
Bravo.
Now, all right. So now currently, how do people listen to you? Because I watch you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Do people have to subscribe to you on Facebook to watch?
Not at all. It's a profile, not a page. Even though I've had pages, I don't make them public because I figured there was not enough to promote at the time, I guess. Or maybe laziness, or maybe both. But on my profile, and that's why I'll always get shut down, but at least they let you go a half an hour to an hour. There's where were you leading to where to contact me?
Yes, I wanted to know so people could watch you.
Well, the Facebook, the way my name is written on the photo, that's how you find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I also have a professional page on LinkedIn and Facebook, which is Joe Irizarry, my real name, because that's how I do business with the insurance firm that I represent.
Okay. Now I want to ask you about your name, your stage name, if that's your professional J.I.Starr. Where'd that come from?
That came from, do you know the anchor on Channel 7 called Ken Rosado?
Yes. He's trigueño, a little dark.
Not trigueño. He's an Italian big guy.
No, I know who he is, but I know he has sometimes he has a nice tan.
He always has a nice tan. Well, Ken Rosado, when he worked on radio, we worked together at WVIP in Mount Kisco. And he's an amazing talent. He worked on the FM playing top 40. I worked on the AM playing contemporary jazz. And then from there, he moved on to a station called WSPK in Poughkeepsie. And his name on that station was KC Rhodes. And listening to him on the air, I was like, wow, I really like that flow. Initial name. So I want to try something like that. So I was Joe Irizarry, and I came up with J.I. And then if you look at my last name, I already have A-R-R. So I said J.I.Starr. How's that? J.I.Starr. J.I.Starr. Oh, that's it. J.I.Starr. That was back in 1984, and I stuck with it since.
Ah, that's amazing. That's a great story. I thought it was something that maybe somebody in the radio station gave you, like you mentioned earlier, Roscoe or one of these guys. But okay, that's a pretty interesting story, man. And you know, thank you for sharing with that. Now, currently, I know you work with an insurance company, Combined Insurance.
Yeah, Fortune 500 company, and you mentioned it, but I officially am not allowed as an agent, as a licensed agent.
Listen, I'm sorry,
no, you can mention it. I can't mention it.
Okay.
Because it's in their bylaws that as a licensed New York agent, I can't talk about the company by name.
So wait a minute.
What I do is I sell.
You gotta be a secret agent then?
How did I know that was coming from?
Oh, come on, man! Like, come on.
I sell accident, sickness, life insurance, and as you can imagine, with this COVID-19,
yes,
I present face to face a lot, and or did. When this happened, naturally that stopped immediately.
Okay.
And they started working on how we can sell over the phone. I cannot tell you, easily over 40 to 44 people that I presented to in the last 6 weeks all called me. Hey, man, can I get that sickness thing you presented to me back then? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry. I can't. So the company had to stop selling the sickness portion and the life portion. So for obvious reasons, you bankrupt the company.
Absolutely.
Everyone wanted it, but everyone that I did get to help, and I love this fact, everyone I did get to help, and several of them, because I'm on the phone with them, have gotten the virus, and they are covered. And that makes me feel that is the best feeling in the world, that I was able to help that person because I introduced them to something, they liked it, and I could write the policy for them. So that's exciting. I love that. I've been selling. Think about it. When you're a VO artist, you're constantly selling. You're selling a product, a service.
Sure.
So it was a natural segue for me. I got trained, got licensed, and the license in New York for this industry is extremely hard. It is not the easiest thing. You can't just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to get a license. It don't work that way. Not in New York, at least.
All right. And that's important to have because like you said, with COVID right now, a lot of people are not, you know, if you're sick and you're not able to work because maybe your job is not letting anybody come in, this is a way of you still get your paycheck, I'm assuming, through the insurance company if you're out sick.
Different policies, yes. A disability one would provide a paycheck. Then there's the accident, then accident and sickness, there's cancer. I can sell a few on the phone right now. If anyone's interested, they can absolutely direct message me on Joe Irizarry on Facebook or on LinkedIn, and I'll get right back to you. I check that all the time because I do get a lot of personal requests. I put a post every now and then. People do get back to me, especially they see the writing on the wall. Right now, the most important thing, I think, life insurance.
Yes.
Get it, whether it's through me or not. Get it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, awesome, man, and thank you for sharing that as well. All right, so are you hired as can somebody hire you for like a ceremony as a DJ, or can they hire you for, you know, master ceremonies, or to do any type of maybe some voiceover work or anything, and where do they contact you for that?
Absolutely. I do have a website. It's so antiquated. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that gets embarrassed. I haven't touched it in more than probably 10 years.
You can't be embarrassed. I mean, you're
I just keep renewing the domain.
Okay.
So maybe we could talk about that because I know you're very good with that. But yeah, it's stagnant, the site itself. That's why I ask people, just get in touch with me either through Messenger or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very big. I get a lot of direct messages from LinkedIn. I also wanted to mention, to answer your question, I work with a company, not exclusively, but I work a lot of gigs as master of ceremonies for private events and weddings, etc. Fiesta, E-N-T, fiestaent.com. You can get all the information there. You'll see my face there under the gallery. And there you could hire me for both voiceover work, private events, concerts, etc. I've gained a lot of work over the years from relationships. People that, you know, have seen you work through the radio station or through private promoters, and they reach out to you and they say, hey, man, I got a concert coming up. Would you like to do it? I need a promo. Can you do the commercial and the live presentations? Mm-hmm. I love those. I love those combos.
All right, you see Magali saying, yeah, sí, para mi quinceañera en el año que viene. She goes for her. Well, how would you say quinceañera in English? That is that
Sweet 15.
Sweet 15, not 16. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So yeah, there you go.
Because there's really no good translation. You either say quinceañera or you don't.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I got to ask you something.
Yeah. Go shoot.
I know we're coming up on an hour, but what I want to know, not what, but who plays that gorgeous grand piano in the background?
Oh my God. That's you know what? That piano happens to be mine. And once we get off here, I'm gonna start playing.
What? Dude, now I'm impressed.
No, J.I. This is a green screen, bro.
No, don't tell me that.
It's a green screen.
Wow, dude. I've been talking about green screens to enhance my show, but I'm like, I don't want to enhance it. I like my background.
The background's actually pretty cool because yours is real.
I can't believe you said you're going to play it right after. I'm like, dude, I want to go check you out.
I'm going to have fun with this, man. And, that's what this is about. Let's Talk is about having fun, having a good time, talking to friends, and showing their talent here as well. Now that which brings me, I'm glad you brought that up because I know we're coming up an hour and I know we're going. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
I'm good, just hungry.
I'm hoping you're liking the vibe. I'm hoping you like the vibe in the show. And there you go. So wifey Eileen, if you can bring him up a sandwich.
No sandwich.
Just kidding. All right. All right. So and people are cracking up. Didn't you play the piano, or wasn't your mom like an piano instructor? Is that what I heard? Is that true?
My mom, and let me tell you, this story hurts me. It hurts me deep because I was so stupid that I didn't take advantage of my mom, who is a concert pianist
Wow.
in Puerto Rico.
Oh my God.
The classics. And I never bothered taking lessons from my own mom. So now in her old age, she still teaches piano in Puerto Rico, in Hormigueros.
Oh my God. And you didn't jump on that opportunity. What happened? What was it about that you didn't take advantage of having your mom there to teach?
Dense, wanting to hang out. I like drums better. I play drums. I'm not getting taught about that anymore. That's it.
I wanted to learn when I was in junior high school, and the teacher told me, I got into a music school in high school. They had back then. Pardon?
Which one?
No, it was in the Bronx. It was IS 137. It was a junior high school, and they actually taught music, and they had shop. They had all kinds of different things. And he told me, the reason why I won't teach you piano, this was his thing, and his name was Mr. Glickman. I tell you, to this day, I'm so grateful to that man. I adore the guy. The guy was awesome. He was a great teacher, great ear. I mean, the guy was awesome. He could tell you who was off note, and there could be 30 kids playing.
Yeah,
you missed the note. That was a G, not a G flat. It's incredible. But he told me the only reason why I won't teach you piano is because you don't have one at home. And I said, wow, I grew up in the projects. Of course, I didn't have a piano. We couldn't afford it, So he says, I'm going to give you an instrument. And you tell me, he says, well, and then I said, well, how about drums? Because drums are cool, right?
Yeah.
Right. But, I had no rhythm, man. I had no rhythm.
The real reason.
Yeah, but that was the reason. And I had this kid, he was really good. He already had a year in. He was better. I was just coming into the thing. So he gave me the alto sax. And I wound up taking the alto sax, and I actually made it my own. I played really well. I was one of the top students. So that's the only, but what I appreciate about music is reading music, learning how to read, the timing. Yep. I think it makes you a better reader, better person to focus. It's just all around. It's a good thing to learn music. So
you're absolutely right. When I went to High School of Music and Art, we were taught piano theory. And I started learning. I remember I was a good student. Ask me today, all I could do is draw you a treble clef, a bass clef, some half notes.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can still remember a few notes. It's not, every good boy does fine, and face.
Yes.
That's all I remember. But I could probably put it on the board.
You know where to put them.
Yeah. But to actually play them, I'd be pressed, very hard to do that. All right. So Manny Gomez says that besides being a great DJ, he's also a monster MTB
mountain biker.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
About mountain biking buddies. That means he tuned in late.
Yes, we spoke about that.
Thank you, Manny.
Now I'm gonna get back to this, and we're gonna close in just a minute because I don't want to hold you. I know you're hungry. Social media, you mentioned that already.
Yeah.
Uh, and let me see. There was one more question. Let me see. I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it, man. I mean, is there anything that you want to mention that maybe that I failed to mention or that we didn't speak about that you want to, convey here right now?
I want to say, and don't stop me, I want to say follow this guy because he's such a humble guy. He's very real, comes from the heart. What he does is expanding for a simple reason, because he believes in it. And I love what you did because you invited me. We hardly knew each other, but you invited me ringside to watch some amateur boxing. And I don't know if you noticed, I enjoyed it probably more than you think. And seeing you work, I mean, I get it. I know what an announcer does. So I appreciate it. You were like an octopus. You were handling the production and the actual talent. So it was pretty intense, and I enjoyed it very much. So
I'm humbled.
Keep following this guy.
I'm humbled and I'm honored to hear that from you, J.I. Just that, like I said, royalty, radio royalty. And I'm humbled that you're here on the show. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope it was as as pleasant as it was for me, you being on the show, and everybody, if you tuned in and you're watching J.I. And my sincere hope is that you enjoyed the interview tonight. Please subscribe to the channel on by way of YouTube, Facebook. Give us a like, subscribe to it. If you can, if you like it, drop us a like, on your way out.
If they're still here, they like it.
Yeah, I see that. Well, I really appreciate it. And that's because of you, J.I. That's all because of you.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Hit me up. Like I said, if I can help you with insurance needs, by all means, hit me up privately on LinkedIn, Joe Irizarry, Irizarry, or on Facebook. Hey, man, I answer every single message. I might not answer it immediately, but I do get to it. I'm very strict with that, especially with business.
All right. Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. Thank you for the people that did subscribe. Meme, Adam, Manny. Thank you so much. I really do humbly accept your subscriptions. Thank you, Thomas, also for saying a great show. Yeah. What made it great was that you were here, Thomas, that you were here watching, and of course the talent J.I.Starr. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And this has been Let's Talk. See you guys in a couple days. Hopefully by Saturday, we'll have somebody else on. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Joe. You still there?